We'll call to order the Finance Committee meeting for Thursday, March 11th. If we'd stand for the prayer and the pledge. Dear Lord, we ask special blessings tonight on the soul of Doris Berthelot, mother of former Mayor Johnny Berthelot and our current Ascension Economic Development Chairman. We ask that you be with the Berthelot family, and I also ask you to be with all of those who have lost loved ones and have loved ones in heaven, and just help us to remember that they always remain in our hearts. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. We are missing Councilman Dennis Cullen, Councilman Pat Bell, Councilman Kent Shake Snyder, and Councilman Dempsey Lambert. There are no chairs additions. Public comment period reminder. Please sign in if you'd like to speak. And item number 5, our Ascension Economic Development Monthly Report. Ms. Patulis and Mr. Eads.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the Finance Committee. I'm Mike Eads, the President and CEO of the Ascension Economic Development Corporation. To start off with, we have handed out our finalized 2009 report. You've received a draft of that previously, but this is the final copy. I won't bore you going through it. Just give you an update on activity. In your package, you have a list of active projects that we're involved with. It looks like this. And as a way of explanation, you see we've categorized those in A's, B's, and C's, and I do an explanation down at the bottom what we mean by that. The A's are the most important ones. Those are the ones that are for real and are actively looking. As you can see there at present, if you total all the projects that we're involved with, there's 24 of them. Total potential capital investment of almost $900 million and potential jobs of 1,443. That includes both potential new development as well as expansions of existing companies. These projects, as you can see, are code named as standard practice in our business to protect the identity of the companies for proprietary reasons. Like to remain anonymous up to a certain point. One thing I'd like to point out to you is it's not obvious by looking at that chart, but 11 of those 24 projects have commenced since last Thanksgiving. So I think that hopefully is indicative that we're starting to turn around the business cycle and getting more activity in the parish, and we're pleased with that. Some specific things we're involved in. The State Department of Economic Development has a new program that's called Certified Sites, and that's where we go in and do a lot of homework on particular pieces of land to get them, as we call, shovel ready. And we are working with the Donaldsonville Industrial Development Board and putting the application in for the Donaldsonville Industrial Park. If we're successful in doing that, that will be the first certified site in the state of Louisiana. So we're proud of that. We've had a lot of good help from a lot of partners putting that information together. Also, you may have read in one of the papers recently, we've put a task force together to take a look at the Albertsons building up here on 44 for potential retrofit as a data center. That building, as you're probably aware, lacks parking. The Walgreens, when it was constructed and they bought the Albertsons building, took up the whole parking lot almost, and so it leaves them without parking. So the chance of using it as a retail use is probably nil. But I have some background experience in data center operations, and first time I saw that building, I thought, it might be a good use for it. So we have put together a team. A team consists of people from Entergy, ETEL, Baton Rouge Chamber, City of Gonzales, us, the broker who has the building listed, and some other folks. And we're going to see if we can, what we need to do to position that building to become a data center. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Kristen. She's going to talk to you about items 5 and 6, unless you have any questions about what I've already talked about. Thank you.
Councilman Joseph?
Yes, my question is that I see the A's, they look real good, but can you tell me out of those, one is coded a Class A, how many of them are looking at a Pacific site, say West Bank, East Bank, you know, or most of them is looking at these facilities on the east side of the river?
Well, I
Or
would say
west?
probably most of them are, but there are, if you bear with me a moment, I can tell you specifically. It looks like, at my count is there 4 of them are looking at west sites on the West Bank, and the remainder on the East Bank.
And they are manufactured job? Manufactured?
Majority of these are manufacturers, yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, Kristen?
Thank you. We are continuing our business retention program through our office in conjunction with the state of Louisiana and the Baton Rouge Area Chamber, our regional partner. What we do is we meet with local companies on a biannual basis, try to assist them with any needs that they may have within locally or on a state, or sometimes may even be able to help them on a federal level. We have decided to brand this program to try to raise more awareness, to get through the door of a lot of these companies that we're having problems with, and just kind of market again the business retention program. We plan to unveil that at the end of April or the beginning of April. Also, I'm not sure how many people are following this, but there will be some changes to the state incentives, the enterprise zone, the quality jobs program, and the industrial tax exemption. The changes are going under review right now with input from various groups of organizations, and should be finalized by the end of April. And these are rules committee changes, not legislative changes. And as soon as I get those in hand, I will pass that down to you all. That's it.
I had a question, actually. I can't remember if I actually asked this last time, but about the Blue Ocean strategy for Louisiana economic development. Are we doing anything to try to, I know, to try to, I guess, meet their strategic goals around the industries they're targeting?
Yes, we are. There's not a formal plan right now, but we have met with state and regional groups to try to assess the needs for our parish, and a plan will be put into place to try to market.
They have not rolled out their complete program or not, but they are going to be realigning staff toward the identified target. I think there were 12 of them. Don't hold me to that. Target markets, and that is all in process and will be announced shortly, I presume.
Okay. Good. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Joseph?
Yes. Since we was talking about targeting a job, are we trying to target green job that America is really focused on right now, or we are targeting Ascension Parish at one of those places where you can bring green manufactured, green job, anything that dealing with green here? I know we're mostly a chemical, but most of those chemicals make green product, you know.
It's interesting you should bring that up, because for some reason the last few months a lot of these projects we're dealing with, I think, fall into that category for a variety of reasons. And you know, if you look at even going back to last year, the dynamic fuels, I think, can be argued that that's a green project. They're taking byproduct and making a clean diesel or clean synthetic fuel out of it. And there's a couple of other projects that are, one's a reclamation project, and one is doing some other similar work. So I think the parish is well positioned to take advantage of that marketplace as it grows.
Okay. And are you working with the college and the trade center to create a program where we can train our people to be ready for those green jobs as that market come here?
Well, I think that would be a logical thing to do, as you're probably aware, the technical colleges and the community colleges are going through a wholesale review of their programs statewide and locally, and you know, we don't know what's going to come of that yet, but I would hope that those would be aligned closely with the efforts of the state economic development group, so that you can you got to have, obviously got to have the labor force
Okay.
to recruit these targeted industries.
Well, I appreciate it, Bill. Just
Okay.
keep that with the
Thank you.
community center, and, I mean, community college and what you call them, because we really need those training here
I agree.
locally. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Thanks, y'all. Next on the agenda, we have our monthly sales and use tax report. Ms. Gwen LeBlanc.
Good evening, members of the Finance Committee. You have before you your regular report. You can see the 3 sales tax districts and the February collections, which represent January sales. And also under that, under each one, is the year-to-date. It looks pretty good according to this, but it's kind of a misnomer in the figures, because there was several large audits that were settled in February. So, and you can see that a little bit further on. If you look at the far right, the budget comparison, of course, we're up 20, 21, 23, 23%, mainly because of those audits. On the second page, it'll clearly show where the audits are coming from. And you can see by the bar charts with 2009 in blue, 2010 in red. Consumer retail is only down about 1% right now. Motor vehicles is still down 10.25%. Business to business is down about 17%. And of course, the petrochemical industry and their major suppliers, you know, you can see the big spike in 2010. And the third chart we have tonight is a historical chart with all three sales tax districts. The first one is East Ascension drainage. The middle one, the 1% sales tax district, and the last chart is a half-cent sales tax district. And that reflects 2010 in yellow, where we were for the last 11 years. And you can see that that's just right above, representing that 6 and 8% increase over year-to-date.
So Gwen, I was just getting all excited because there wasn't a negative numbers for the first time in like 9 months or so. What are the figures without the audits, without that spike? Or do you have those handy?
Yes, it's about 18% for down with drainage, and about 20 to 22% for our two rural sales tax districts. Hopefully, with the news from economic development and other factors that, you know, hopefully will stabilize and start gradually going up.
Okay. Other questions? No? Okay, we'll
thank
move on
you.
to the revenue and expenditure report.
This is your monthly financial report for the month of January. Your revenue operating is at 3.13%. Your capital projects revenue budget is at 1.66%. Your total revenues is at 2.78%. We're at 8.33% of the year, and the accounts that are highlighted in green are the accounts that are under the budget at this time, and it's mostly contributed to revenue that came in January that were accrued back to 2009. And if you look on page 4 and 5, it gives an explanation of the funds that are highlighted in green. The next page is your expenditure report, and your total operating budget expenditures are at 8.77%. Your capital projects at 11.77%, and your total is at 9.79%. And the accounts that are highlighted in green are the accounts that's over the 8.33% at this time, and it's mostly due to contracts and POs that were either encumbered for the first quarter or for the whole year. And also, there are some that's highlighted that do not have a budget. Those are for projects that carried over from 2009, and we will be amending the budget to account for those in 2010. And on page 6 gives a explanation of the ones that's highlighted in green. The next page is a chart, a comparison chart for revenues and expenditures. It compares the budget, which is the green line, to operating in yellow and capital in blue for both revenue and expenditures. The next 3 pages are the explanations. And then the last page is a report listing the disbursements that exceeded 100,000 for the month of January. And that total was 3,994,917. And it lists what they were for.
Okay, any questions for Amanda? All right, thanks, Amanda. Move on to item number 8, our budget amendment number 3. Dawn Caballero.
Good evening. You have before you the ordinance for budget amendment number 3. It reads as follows. An ordinance to amend the ordinance approving, adopting, and appropriating the 2010 operating and capital budgets for the Parish of Ascension, adopted by the Ascension Parish Council on the 19th day of November 2009. Section 1. The Ascension Parish Council hereby ordains that the ordinance approving, adopting, and appropriating the 2010 operating and capital budgets for the Parish of Ascension is hereby amended, approved, and appropriated as follows. The operating budget. Under the general fund, the expenditures are general administration, professional services for $25,000, appropriations, an appropriation for the Festival of Festivals, $50,000, Parish Promotion County Agent, appropriation and grants, $30,000, planning and zoning, operating supplies for $25,000, the ISGIS Department, operating supplies for $42,700, and under Lighting District Number 4, we have revenues for the parcel fee of $20,000.
Okay, questions on the ordinance? I guess I do. The licenses for GIS and the cartograph, those are
That's renewal licenses. We didn't
software
include in
renewal
the budget.
license?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Motion by Councilman Benny Johnson. Second by Councilman Adrian Thompson. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion is adopted. We'll move to item number 9, our bid items. Ms. Jones?
Good evening. On March 9, 2010, the Purchasing Department received 1 bid for coal mix application. The bid was received from Material Resources Incorporated. After review, the Purchasing Department and Department of Public Works recommend accepting the lowest qualified bid from Material Resources Incorporated.
Motion by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman Randy Cluett. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion passes. Item 10, our contracts report for the month.
Item 10 in your packet is the contracts report for the month of February. There were some 14 contracts. I'd ask that you peruse them. If you have any questions, happy to answer.
Does anybody have any questions upon reviewing? Item number 11, DOTD, there's no amount. Is that a mistake, or is?
No, we're still negotiating the fee. I mean, that's the one where we're going to help pay for the sewer work.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Todd Lambert.
Yeah, Mr. Grant, have y'all come up with a final price on that? I know y'all been negotiating, but the last I heard, it kept creeping and creeping up to about
That's
$3
why
million.
it's about-
Do we have the funding available for that project? I know at the state convention, it did show that 73 was in the project for us getting it done, but the parish needs to have the funding to put down the sewer system.
We put,
But last I heard, it was $3 million plus.
right, in the 2010 budget, capital budget, there's about 2.5 already budgeted for that project, and we may have to make an adjustment based on the final.
And where you gonna get the budget? Do
Well,
you have it
fund-
in the funding? You have it available, is what I'm
Right,
saying.
it will have to be fund balance.
You mean everything past the 2.5?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do have 2.5.
Councilman Joseph.
Yes, Mr. Grant, what's Ascension Recreation?
Yeah, that was just an extension to allow us to continue to work with FEMA and, get all the reimbursements that were coming from that.
Okay,
It's no money involved, it's just,
okay, all right,
it's just an extension.
okay. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Any further questions? Councilman Lambert.
What about number 12, Mr. Grant? What you got on that?
12?
Yes, sir.
Yes, let me explain that, because that got my attention as well.
Yes.
I talked to Jackie about that. What that is basically is that we have now put in final form the design of the rest of the 2001 road projects. It was a very open-ended contract for all the rest of the projects. What this is the final design fee, and what it reflects, quite honestly, is a $200,000 decrease from what it could have been based on the open-ended nature of those contracts. So basically, Jackie has negotiated the fee from $558,000 to $312 to finish those
So it's
projects.
312 just for the design of
To
these
finish
two
the
projects.
design and construction administration of those projects.
Okay.
And that was part of the 01
Yes, sir.
road project.
Yes, sir.
And why is it redesigned, not designed?
Well, as I understand, the redesign is based on some geometric, some change in geometrics as a result of the state, new state requirements for geometrics on their state roadways.
And we didn't know that up front when we started.
As I understand, this goes back to 2001, and whatever the original requirements were, they've subsequently changed based on this final design.
Councilman Thompson.
I understand, memory saved me right, the road project, they was going with DOTD specs to widen the road, and they had a lot of complaints about taking so much right of way. So we voted to go back and look at it, and they changed the amount of right of way that they were gonna buy, so I guess they had to redesign the road. The right of way. I don't know, George, you remember that?
No.
But, there was a lot of roads that we had voted on, and they had complaints about taking so much right of way.
But-
I know we had some situations with intersections, certain intersections, we had to do something different. I didn't realize it had to do with part of the
Council-
section of road.
Councilmember, I received a breakdown of the fee schedule from the engineering, and I'll be happy to share it
Yeah,
with you.
I would suggest,
Definitely,
Mr. Chairman, that
I'll be
Mr.
happy.
Grant just break it down for all of council.
Yes,
so we
sir.
can see what
I
that
have
is.
has a complete breakdown.
Just one quick thing.
Sure.
And
Councilman.
Mr. Thompson, both of these projects are both new. They're not old projects, these two right here. This is a revision of Cannon Road, which, from what I can understand, is just putting some culverts and some ditches. And the Roddy Road turn lane was not been that long ago put in the system.
Yes, they have it. I think it goes back to 201.
It's part of the 201 project, that's what you said,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Grant.
Just perform it.
But the revisions just took place recently this year. That's it.
You feel like we're getting a good deal, Mr. Grant? We're getting a good road,
Sir,
good turn?
Anytime we save this kind of money, I think.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we will move on. Item number 11, change order number 2, Fire District number 1 for the 7th District Station renovation project.
Yes, sir. thought I saw Chief Whittaker here a while ago, but basically this is to finish off some of the improvements at Fire District Number 7. If in your packet, you'll see it's a reduction in the change order of $112,000.
Make that motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson. Second by Councilman Kulat. Discussion? Objection? Motion passes. Item number 12 is the 2010 renewal of agreement between the Prairieville Fire Department, Parish of Ascension, and Fire District Number 3 for funding of part-time firefighters in the amount of $400,000. This is a
Continuing
just a
agreement.
simple renewal, no changes in terms, correct?
Yes, sir.
So, second.
Motion by Councilman Thompson, second by Councilman Johnson. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion passes. Item number 13 is a 2010 renewal agreement between Ascension Parish Fire District Number 1 and the City of Gonzales for fire protection services in the amount of $120,000.
That's a renewal.
It's a continuing
deal.
agreement as well.
Yes.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Kulat,
Second.
second by Councilman Johnson. Discussion?
Yes, sir.
Councilman Labor.
Mr. Cedric, maybe, let's finish talking.
Yeah, it's in there.
Mr. Cedric, on this topic with the renewal with the city, what is the fire board's recommendation? Did y'all get a recommendation from the fire board, or maybe Mr. Jean can answer that, maybe? Because I heard a little controversy with it, that's why I was just asking.
Yes, that's the fire board's recommendation. There are going to be some changes negotiated, but they will be taken into effect for January 1st, 2011.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, one question.
Councilman Johnson?
Mr. Grant, I know in the past we've had in our contracts for these where we've had 30-day buyout, 30-day clauses to get out of this. I don't see that in this contract. Not that it's going to happen, but it's always nice to have something if you wanted to get out of the contract to bail out of
I'd
it.
be happy to agree to add that.
I think that needs to be added into the contract. Make us.
You talking about either party?
Yeah, either party, not just us. I mean, either party. I know it's been in that contract before.
We were advised by the legal department that the 30-day contract, the 30-day outs are no longer going to be part of contracts, that the contract has to last for a year.
Well, the term will be a year, but we have termination. We have the ability to terminate. So
Right. Well, in conversation, and after we had that, me and Mr. Vitek talked about that, and after I checked with Ms. Manda on that, and she wasn't aware of that. She was supposed to check into it, and I haven't had a chance to get back with her on that, but I'd like to see that added in here, or at least get the legals to understand, at least have the administration understand why that's not a part of this contract anymore.
Cool.
Pending legal approval to move it to the.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that, yeah, second that.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So we're going to amend the motion to
Make a motion pending legal approval.
pending legal approval. Okay. I have a motion, a second.
Second comment.
Councilman Joseph.
Mr. Grant,
Yes, sir.
if every fire district does this, so we're gonna renew something with the city of Downsville? Do they have something similar to this too?
I will look into that, Councilman. I can't tell you off the top of my head if that does exist. I would hope that we have similar agreements. with
Yeah,
them.
because I mean, we're renewing them, if we should put them all on the same time. I don't know the situation, but if we can't do that. That's- Thank you.
Okay. I have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Any objection? Motion passes. Okay, to our general business section. Item number 14 is a sponsorship agreement for the volleyball court at Oak Grove Community Park. I'd like to ask Mr. Chad Cologne to come forward, if you would. Chad Cologne and Ryan Brock are the owners of the Rotellos in Gonzales and Prairieville, and they came forward, and they're asking to, they're offering to sponsor the beach volleyball court, which will give us the funds, for $5,000, the funds needed to construct it, and in return, it'll be named the Rotellos Beach Volleyball Court. So just wanted to say we appreciate that and appreciate you coming forward. I know this isn't the first time you've done a lot of community-oriented things for a lot of worthy causes, but we appreciate that.
Sure, thank you. We appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
So, I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Councilman Adrian Thompson, second by Councilman Joseph.
Yep.
Discussion. Councilman Valentine?
Just a quick question, is it legal that we can name it after a business, even though they donate the money? We check that?
Yes, this has
Okay.
been through legal. It's just.
Okay, I
it's a
just wanna
sign
make
saying
sure.
they sponsor
So
it.
we've run through, what we were gonna do is
I'm out,
put
well, I certainly don't mind taking the money, that's
we're
for
gonna
sure.
put a sign up,
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'll just make sure, because we do have some kind of ordinance on naming stuff, and that's why I wanted
Right.
to know.
well, hopefully Rotolo's not still alive.
Okay.
Okay, motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any objection? Motion passes. On the topic, real quick, I just wanted to say Jumpin' Jive is also doing a fundraiser all day on March 22nd, because that is the day that Ascension Parish schools are out. So kids, if anyone has children and they'd like to support the park, they can come to Jumpin' Jive, and all the admissions from 10 to 4, and all the admission proceeds will go to the park as well. Item number 15 is our fiscal year 2009 UASA grant funding and approval. Mr. Grant and Ms. Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is just a part of our requirements. We have to come to council for approval for any funds that are over a certain amount. This has been awarded to the parish. We have a resolution, a document in front of you telling you exactly what it is. We were awarded $276,817.82. We need your approval to go to council.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Joseph, second by Councilman Kluwat. Discussion? Any discussion? Any objection? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks. Item number 16, cooperative endeavor agreement between the Parish of Ascension and the Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office to transfer equipment in exchange for inmate labor provided by the Sheriff's Office at Lamar Dixon.
Yes, Councilman, the sheriff requested that we donate the equipment to them that is being changed out in the jail, so they can make some subsequent use of it. It would probably be surplused otherwise by us and sold for little or nothing. In exchange for it, they've agreed to provide inmate labor, which would be very helpful to us.
Motion by Councilman Kluwat, second by Councilman Johnson. Discussion? Any objection? Motion passes.
Motion adjourned.
Motion adjourned by Councilman Tadlander. Second by Councilman Johnson. Meeting adjourned.